Determination, welcome. This is not an Undertale stream, as you can see. I'm glad to have you. So I'm working on this new enemy here, this little floating circle. It's going to bounce around the room, I think, and it's going to shoot at the player. Because so far these other two enemies, they don't really shoot bullets at you. The skull shoots like this projectile at you every now and then, but I don't have an enemy that just shoots bullets at you that can move around. I do have the turret enemies, but they're stationary. This one locks on and shoots a laser, and the one up here shoots actual bullets. But I need a different kind of enemy. That's gonna be this guy. This is just a placeholder sprite for now. So I'm thinking that this, even though he's bouncing around at 45-degree angles, this enemy is going to have like an opening on it, and he's going to rotate constantly. And when that rotation faces the player, that's when he's going to be shooting at you. So he's not shooting at you constantly. I could make different variations of him, and I could make it so he does just shoot at you consistently, but we'll start with the first iteration of it. He can hit you too, and then you can kill him, but he doesn't have a death sequence. So I need to do a lot of work here. Death sequence, some AI logic. He's got to shoot you, sound effects, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what he's going to be, or if he's going to be a circle, or what he's going to look like, but let's start by going to the sprite here, and by default pretty much all sprites are going to face to the right at 0 degrees. So I'll just do a little placeholder graphic here to show that he is facing to the right. Yeah, there'll be a story. It's supposed to be a Metroidvania. There's going to be some type of story. I don't really have anything in mind or planned yet. I have some things that I'm tinkering with on paper, but no dialogue written yet, or no formal actual structure of a story. Gotta have a story though, right? Thank you. I wish I had a Steam page so I can start getting wish lists, but I don't have enough. I feel like I don't have enough graphics. The artwork in the game just isn't great. It's all programmer art. And there's some other things I need for a Steam page, but capsule art, concept art. So as you can see, he's bouncing around and he's always facing to the right. So I gotta add some code that essentially he's just gonna rotate. No matter how he's bouncing, he's always just gonna be rotating. And then there's gonna be like a line of sight from that black dot. And then if that line of sight intersects with the player, he's basically gonna attack. So first let's go into the enemy logic. Make this bigger. Let's just play around. So initially, I'll give him a random angle from 0 to 360. Right. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I know why that's happening. Yeah, so yeah, I made everything so far. Well, for the most part. It's kind of very basic though. It's very programmery art. It's not the best. I mean, for this type of game, yeah, I might just keep the way the art is. Obviously, this enemy I'm working on now is not anything final. It's just an initial setup to get the enemy going. But so with the collision mask, even with the collision mask rotating with the rectangle, or rectangle with rotation, essentially when it hits the walls, this collision mask is going to be rotated and it's going to mess up the way the logic works. So instead of actually rotating the enemy, I'll draw the enemy won't actually rotate, but I'll draw the sprite rotated, and that way the collision mask is always just straight up and down the way that you just saw it, and then that way when it bounces around there shouldn't be any issues. So we have to go into the draw event and let's see. So I'm going to draw the sprite myself, and everything's going to be the same. Oops. The sprite index, the X and the Y position. Alright, the scale is always just going to be 1 and 1. The rotation is going to be the image angle of this object. Oops. Wait, did I miss something? Oh, the sub image. For now, that's just going to be 0. Color. And alpha. So instead of image angle, I need my own variable here. Rotation. I'm gonna get rid of these other enemies in the room so that they don't interfere with me. So he's rotating, he's bouncing. I think that he should rotate at least... Like here he's moving to the left, so he should be kind of rotating to the left. But as soon as he's... Actually, I don't know. Maybe he should just always rotate the same direction. I don't really know exactly how I'm gonna this enemy's gonna end up, but we'll see. So basically, if that black dot, if you shoot a straight line out of it, and it intersects with the player, that's when the enemy is going to shoot you. So as the player, you want to try to avoid lining up with them, essentially. So right now, I would not be getting shot. But of course, you can still run into me and cause damage that way. Bye. Have fun with Roblox. Hello, Corsans. How are you? Blank name. My dev goals for this session is to just work on this enemy. Maybe do a little bit of level design. I have this Figma document that I haven't started yet, that eventually I'll draw out the world map of the game. You can see I have 2 blank rooms here. But I have some notes on how like the rooms will progress. Either you kill all the enemies, or there's going to be a puzzle in one of the rooms. There could be a challenge. It could be a save room, an item room, a boss room. And then the world progression, like the upgrades and stuff. But I don't know if I'm going to really work on that yet today. But the enemy is this circular enemy that bounces around the room, and when it lines up with you, with the player, when there's a line of sight that's not blocked by platforms or walls, it will shoot at you. So this is very rough right now, what I'm working on. I don't know what it's going to look like in the end or how it's going to function, but is game need a lore? What do you mean? Terraria Skull Boss. It does look like the Terraria Skull Boss. I didn't mean for that to happen. Yo, what's up, Jam? Yeah, I want to put it on Steam. I don't have a Steam page yet, though. Yeah, the sprite definitely looks like it. I don't know if the way that it functions is like that Terraria game. Okay, so you can see, just as a test. Wait, no, that's not working. Hold on. Most of the sprites aren't final. This is all programmer art. But, so you can see that, oh, he's moving kind of fast. Let me just slow him down. I have it so he's at a random speed, but it's just way too fast. Let's go to... Let's even make it so the rotation is actually a lot slower, too. Oh, okay, yeah. I could see from the screenshot that I showed. Yeah, that enemy, that skull enemy in that game has the hands and the arms. Okay, let's make it so the move speed is just 2 for now. So you can see when that black dot does line up with the player, it's gonna turn red. Oh, yeah, there it goes. It's kind of working. There's something a little off there, but so that means that he would shoot you. There it is. Let me actually draw that line. Yeah, I've been making games for a long time. Like 20 years ago, I made a game called Trapped 5 on Newgrounds. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember Newgrounds, or if Newgrounds is still something that people are going on a lot. But Flash games was my thing back in the day. Started in like middle school, high school, and I made. I used to work on games all the time for fun. Never released anything commercially. Never made money. But now, much later in my life, I decided that I want to try to make a game where I can release it on Steam and hopefully build an audience, a community, and make money from it. So there's the line. And yeah, you can see that... Oh wait, that's not quite right either. What the heck? It's just shooting out. What is going on? Yeah, go check out Trapped 5 on Newgrounds. Trapped 4 has like 1.5 million plays. Trapped 5 has like a little over 500,000. And those are really old views. It doesn't really get views or plays anymore, but all those millions of views are from like a decade or two ago. Newgrounds.com, that's the OG, the original site where everyone uploaded their Flash games, and there's still people uploading animations and Flash games to this day. There's all kinds of stuff. It's a huge community. Go check it out. It's newgrounds.com. I appreciate that, Jam. You know, I downloaded Unity and Godot, and I kind of messed with them for a little bit, and I don't know if it's because I'm using a Mac or what the deal was, but like Godot was kind of glitchy, and there was some weird things happening with the UI. Excuse me. And I just started YouTubing some stuff, and I found some Game Maker tutorials, and I was like, I don't know about this. It looks kind of like you can't do much with it. Didn't look that great, but I downloaded it. It was free at the time to download and try. And after using it for a little bit, I realized that it is pretty powerful and easy to use, and yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. And it wasn't having like these weird bugs and glitches I was encountering with Godot. And Unity was just, I could learn that. I could go through the motions and look at all the tutorials, and obviously you could probably do a lot more with Unity, but I don't know. Something about Game Maker I really like. It's kind of like an enhanced, in a way. I mean, there's a lot of stuff missing that Flash has, but it's kind of like an enhanced version of Flash, like specifically for making games. Kinda. Alright, Jam, take care. Good night. Game Maker hits different. Alright, see you next time. Okay, got that working. So you can see the line of sight is shooting out of that black eyeball, and as it rotates, if it hits the player, then just for now, it changes color, just to signify that he's aiming at the player. Yeah, Game Maker is there's a lot of cool things about it. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy using it. There's some downsides, but I'm not making anything 3D, so I don't really have to worry about that. So I don't know exactly how this enemy is going to work. So far, I don't know. I really don't know if this is how I want him to function. Because when he's bouncing around, he's just steadily rotating. But he's bouncing around at like 45-degree angle, so it's kind of weird. Like maybe he should always be facing the way he's moving, instead of just rotating and randomly. Like, because if he's moving around at 45-degree angles like this and just kind of bouncing around, why is he slowly rotating and just aiming wherever he's rotated towards? It just kind of looks, it's a little odd. So I might change it up so he's actually, he's always going to be aiming in the direction that he's moving. Yeah, Python is nice. You know, a lot of the programming languages are very similar, just like the syntax is different for the most part. And Python is, I haven't really used it, but I've kind of messed with it here and there, but I've never really programmed anything in it. But I can see that how it's very much like other languages, and I know it's pretty powerful and fast, and I should learn it. I should just go ham on that and just have it in my like in my resume, if you will. I know there's Pygame, right? You can just use Pygame and make games, I think. Okay, so I am gonna change it so he's aiming where in the direction that he's actually moving. Let's try that. But I don't want him to just abruptly aim in the way that he's moving, because when he bounces, he just changes direction instantly. And I don't want the way he's facing to just abruptly change to the direction that he's moving. It's got to just kind of tween or slowly lerp to that position. So his rotation, it can start at a random degree from 0 to 360. But on every step or every game frame, the rotation shouldn't just change. The rotation should always be lerping to the way he's facing. So we'll say that we have his rotation, but also his rotation destination. Initially, that will be whatever his rotation is. So the rotation destination should be his point direction. And in the actual rotation, instead of adding a quarter of a degree each step, it should be lerp. I think we can lerp. Once the enemy is spotted, he'll probably freeze in the spot that he's in for a moment and fire some bullets or a laser and then keep moving again. Not exactly sure. Okay, so you can see he's indeed now aiming in the direction he's moving, but it's too abrupt. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. I actually thought that. Huh. Oh. This lerp value was not supposed to be 1, it's supposed to be a fraction. A very small number between 0 and 1. So right now it's set at 0.05, which is 1/20th. And let's see. So it kind of works, except for sometimes it takes the longer route. So right there it works, right there it works. You can see that's working, but sometimes it's gonna bounce and it's gonna rotate like the long way to get to its destination instead of the shorter angle. Like that. Like you should have rotated to the right to get here, not to the left. And so there is a way to fix that. There was, yeah, right there. Over and over, he's turning the wrong direction. That could be kind of an interesting mechanic, but so the angle difference function is built into GameMaker, and this function will return the smallest angle difference between two angles as a value between -180 and 180. And it takes two arguments, the first angle to use and the second angle to use. So it's a good question, blank name. Well, mainly, it is a Metroidvania, but obviously there's a million of those, right? But typically the Metroidvanias are more of like, the ones that I see are more like platformers, where like you have to do a lot of platforming. In this, there's not going to be any double jumps or wall slides or anything like special like that. The thing that makes this game somewhat unique, maybe, nothing too crazy, which is, I really do need to figure something out, but the jetpack. So you have this jetpack, and right now I have it, so I have like, not infinite, but I have a ton of energy for the jetpack until it runs out. But to recharge it, you land. See? But initially you're only going to be able to fly for about 1 to 2 seconds when you first find the jetpack. So you can fly like that amount, and then you have to land. And so when you don't have the jetpack in the beginning, you know, you're kind of limited. You can just jump. But then you find the jetpack, and then it'll allow you to get to higher spaces, or higher, you know, just higher areas. So you can find new parts of the world once you upgrade the jetpack, or once you find the jetpack. And then when you find the first jetpack upgrade, it'll like double or triple the amount of fuel it has, and then you can reach even higher spaces. Yeah, so you know, I want the jetpack to be the main thing about this Metroidvania. That makes it, I guess, unique. That's the mechanic. And then you have all these different guns, so there's not going to be any melee attacks. And you know, the gamepad is supported here. You can switch between the gamepad. Like right now, I'll use the gamepad, and it's kind of interesting because it's actually harder to play with the gamepad. But you aim with the right stick, and you can lock on to you can lock on to the enemies too, like this. So it's like kind of auto aim. With the mouse, it's really easy to aim. You just point the mouse right at the enemy. But with the gamepad, it's more challenging, and I don't want it to be more challenging if you prefer the gamepad. So you can lock on to the enemies and kind of auto aims. But yeah, it's a mouse, and the best way to play it is with the mouse and keyboard, which is also not typically like a Metroidvania. Like typically with Metroidvanias, you want to pick up the gamepad and you want to punch and kick and use a sword. And besides Metroid, obviously with Metroid, you're shooting. But I feel like a lot of the Metroidvanias that are coming out, most of them, I feel like it's like more melee attacks or maybe a combination. Yeah, I don't want this to be like a platformer where it's like, oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, those games are, that way to do it is super fun. Like Super Metroid is an amazing game, and there's all different kinds of platforming you can do. But I don't want it to be like, you know, wall jump, double jump, get to this platform, the platforms maybe disappear and you got to do it in a certain amount of time, and it's like, that's kind of like a Celeste type of mechanic. I want this to be more focused on the fighting of the enemies and surviving and solving puzzles. I want there to be a lot of puzzles. Like each room is going to be something very specific that the player should do. It's not just kind of like willy-nilly, oh, there's another room, there's more enemies. It's either going to be like destroy all the enemies or solve like some really complex new puzzle, or some kind of challenge, like a timed challenge, maybe some type of like platforming challenges, but not like the typical kind of Metroidvania platforming. I made another game. There's a couple videos on my channel. It was a ninja game, and that was more of a platformer, like kind of like parkour. You could double jump, you could hang off a ledge, and you fight enemies with your fists. And that game is so fun to play. People loved it. Anybody who play tested it really loved it. And I had to stop making it a while ago because, for a lot of different reasons, I won't get into it right now, but if you check out my channel and you see some footage of that game is like my dream game, I guess you could say. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe changing up the gravity. The gravity already is a little light. I had the gravity a lot stronger when I first started the game. Right now it's a little floaty, because like you kind of are in space, I guess. Kind of like Super Metroid. Super Metroid is a little floaty. But yeah, there could be some rooms where maybe the gravity is like weaker or stronger. That could be some kind of mechanic I can add in. You can always go with the whole upside down gravity thing, but that's kind of a nightmare with the coding. I don't know if I want to get into that. Also, these doors kind of act as portals. Let's see. So there's gonna be a lot of secret areas too, like this. You go into this door. Right now this is just a test room, so it doesn't really make sense, but these doors kind of act as portals. They can also go to different rooms. So, like this door here would lead to this other room that I was just in. Then that door disappears, so you can't go back. Of course, you got these one-way platforms, right? Gotta have that. This is a one-way platform as well, but it's truly one way. You can only go up through it. You can't go down. This platform is kind of like from Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. The art is the same, but these ones are thinner right here. So this one's is a lot thinner, so it tells the player that not only can you go up through it, but you can also fall down through it. Thanks, man. I'm glad you see the potential. I've been working on it for a while, and I've been building a lot of the core system, like all the UI, all the guns, the way that the rooms connect, and all the space in the background, the stars and stuff, the pause menu, the way you collect the gems and the ammo, and the way you switch weapons. A lot of core stuff I've been working on, and now I need to build the game out. I need to start building more enemies, more rooms, doing puzzles, building out the world map, the storyline, so you can also save. And so if I exit and come back, you'll see that this is where I just saved it. And then these pink doors, if you ever played Super Metroid, you can only open those with the rocket launcher. Right now I actually don't have the rocket launcher, but I can do a little cheat. Come over here, get the rocket launcher. If I come back, see, really the only way to go through these doors is to use the rocket launcher. And then once you go through the pink doors with the rocket launcher, it's no longer pink. So it's like once you've unlocked that and opened it with the missile, you can just open it again with a regular gun. Alright, no problem. Thanks for hanging out and chatting. I'll see you next time.